This here is the A.O. Smith brand water heater, which came with my new construction house, done about 7 years ago. So it's beginning to act up. And what's happening in the house is the kids were complaining that the water was so hot they were burning. They were like, yeek! As soon as they put the heat on, they'd have it about, midway. Now they have, well, they used to have the water on like at 9 o'clock. Now they do 12 o'clock and they get as much heat as they used to. So the unit is essentially overheating. What's causing that is the thermostats. And I'm going to show you how you can fix those pretty easily and cheaply if this is happening in your home. So the very first thing you want to do is go over to your fuse panel and you want to locate which one is your water heater. It's going to be a twin, typically anywhere from a 20 to a 30 or even a 40. This one here is actually a double 30. So you would just want to take that and flip it over. The reason why it's barred with the bus bar here like this is because each one of these represents 110 volts. So you take the two together, it supplies 240 volts to the unit. You have the two legs here. So you have one heater element, which is on the top or the upper element, which is this piece here. These two are the two connectors onto the upper element, so you can pull this thing out and it makes one heater element. Down below it's a little bit more simple looking, and you can see I already removed the thermostat from this one, and there's the two connectors as well. This here is the lower heater element. Okay, so this video does not pertain to heating elements if they're bad or if it's a power problem, because we already know we have 240 volts, because you can test between, you can put your meter on 600 volts, which will allow any range under that. So if you go between the red and the black, if the power was on, you're going to get 240 volts from here, from black to red, anywhere you're in here, whether it be on the upper or the lower. But the right way to do it is either here, or you can test the power on the top, whichever you prefer. But for this video, I just want to talk about the thermostats going bad. Now, the reason why I know for a fact the thermostats are bad is because the water is overheating. Anybody who uses the shower is literally getting burnt alive. So what was also tripping was this thermostat. If you come in here and you click it, because it reset, this is the high limit switch. So what this means is that when this thing gets too hot and it starts boiling, this is there to protect the safety of people in the house using the hot water. So if this happens and you reset it once says, okay, maybe you have a one-time deal. But if you're hitting it and then the hot water goes out again and you're resetting it and you find yourself constantly resetting it, this is most likely your problem. Almost 99%, closer to say 100%. I'd say actually 100%, that's pretty much your problem. So when you remove this, the problem is going to be this. When you take this one out, and it's pretty easy to take it out, what it is you take your wires off, and some good advice is that if you're not electrically knowledgeable, is write a little schematic of what happened, or take your smartphone and take a picture so that way when you remove it and you go back to put it on, you don't get scared because you say, was it here, was it there? You don't want to goof around. And if you're really that unsure, you should probably have a professional do it. But if you're a handy guy like most people that watch these videos, you'll be fine. So when you take this thing out, when you go out and you get yourself a new one, you'll notice that there's a similarity, but it's also a little bit different. So don't let this scare you. If you take this and actually line it up exactly, you'll see that there's your power legs here, this bus bar, which is the same on here, and then you have this lead which jumps out to the heater element. On the right side, there's only two connectors, which is your power and then your other black, which is going to be on the bottom right side. But again, yours may be different, but if you're using an A.O. Smith, this here is my power legs going in here. This is 110, this is 110. These are both sides of my heater element, and this one here is going to run down to the lower element. So it's pretty straightforward what's going on. So what I'm going to do now is I've already removed them. When you do remove them, what you got to do is just stick your hands in here, push these pins in position so that way it releases these little locking tabs. So you got to basically just go in there, push them with your fingers and push it in the up position, and this will come right out. So first, loosen your wires, take it out, and what I'm going to do is just reinstall these, reconnect my wires on the upper, and also on my lower. This is exactly the same as the one that I took out in the front. You'll notice that they look the same, except there is a difference. The pins on here are on the left and right. This one here, they're both on the left side. Doesn't really matter, just connect the lead from the right on the bottom, and the top left one will be the same one on the left. and that's a direct replacement. Set your temperature back to where it was. Typically this one here was on 120, which is what's typically found in a home, but if you like it a little bit warmer, of course you could do that, but be careful, you don't want to make it too hot and scold anybody. That's how that works. So that will fix this A.O. Smith water heater, get it back working the way it was without going out and getting some expensive fancy schmancy plumber to come in here and do all this work, because it's really a straightforward job. I went to Home Depot. Literally both of these components cost me less than 30 bucks.
Yeah.
Okay, so first thing you want to do is place this thing in here. So you got these two tabs which lock onto here. I'm going to show you how it works. When you took the old one out, you had to pull them back and then force it in the upward position to remove it out. So this is just basically the complete opposite. And again, first make sure your power is off, otherwise bad things happen. So you want to be up in this position and go straight down and lock those tabs right in there. You get that click, you know you're in business. There you go. So then I can take all my connectors and wire it all up. Now, if you give me a little room, you'll notice that on the old ones it had these little holes, which are really cool because you could just take these things, push them in, and then screw it tight, which was delightful. However, on these new ones that you get at Home Depot, they don't have anything like that. So what I would suggest, this is just a suggestion if you want to be fancy, is just strip the wire back about another half of an inch or so like that, and just kind of do like one of these deals. So that way when you get underneath the lug, you can pull it in, and then you can close it with the plier to make a much better connection. But again, that's just an optional step. If you're fanatical like I am, that's how you're going to do it. And once you make your connections, like I said, here to the element, your power leg on the top left, that's one. Your other leg of 110 on the right. You got here these two connectors, which are on the center lug. Then you have this one, which is on the bottom. You close it all up. You take the connector cover, which is not going to line up exactly, so you don't have to worry about it. Just take it, stick it in there best you can, recover the insulation. Take your cover panel and close it up. Flick the power back onto the circuit panel over the fuse panel, and then just test it out, make sure everything works, which I'm sure it will. And that's it. That's how you fix these A.O. Smith water heaters for overheating. I'm done. nothing. Oh my god, this is ridiculous. Whoever came up with this shit is stupid. They give you like nothing to work with. Actually, I'm gonna extend this wire because I don't like the way that is at all. I do not like that. Alright, so that one. This one to cover that one. I tell you, when these monkeys work, they don't put no freaking forethought in their wire.